The football this weekend, there's one thing you are going to hear daily, nightly, and ever so rightly. Bears Commanders. No, that's the Thursday night game. And, oh boy, I talked about it last time, how much people love doing the how bad a game is. Bears Commanders, get ready. People are drooling. Carson Wentz, Justin Fields, the line in this game is even. I've heard fans of these teams saying it's a disgrace that if either of them would be favored. Well, the line is even. The 1-4 Commanders and the 2-3 Bears. No, the game I was referencing earlier, and I'm going to go out of Cron Pod because it's the game that deserves to be, because it's probably the two best teams in football. A couple teams with arguments. The Bills and the Chiefs are playing. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. This is appointment television for the next decade. They are playing at 4:25. We'll see what the MLB playoff schedule looks like that day. I think we'd be lined up for some games 4s and 5s in that day. Bills, Chiefs, 4:25 p.m. Anytime they link up. That playoff game last year where they basically pitched a perfect game. The Bills pitched a perfect game. Chiefs got the overtime, ran it back down. That was it. Never touched the ball again. Everyone was talking redoing overtime, and what's that look like? Brutal. It's in Arrowhead. In Arrowhead, that is important. The Bills are 4-1. They lost that, I keep saying, fluky game to the Dolphins, and maybe that's unfair. Maybe it's not. I don't think we've seen the Bills full tilt yet, and they just beat the Steelers last weekend, 38-3. And I think that was kind of like, yeah, like that's what we're going to do against your backup quarterback and bad team. I think I like the Bills in that game. Kansas City Chiefs, they're the Chiefs, and we just saw what they did. They came back from down 17-0 to beat the Raiders. So it's not like they still don't have the sauce. Their loss is so weird to the Colts. Oh, my God. NFL football. Arrowhead, coming off the short week. I don't know how much that matters. I feel like NFL people will tell you it matters, and maybe it does. These two teams know each other pretty well. I like the Bills on the road. I kind of like that there's a business-like aspect going to it, going into Arrowhead. They don't have a perfect season going, so there's no pressure. It's we're 4-1, you're 4-1. Let's tee it up. I think the Bills tie one on for this, and if you're looking at classic NFL stuff, could you sorry, I was looking at the Chiefs schedule for a second. If you're doing classic NFL stuff, I want to see if the Bills have a little hangover game waiting for them. Home versus the Packers the next week. So I don't know. That's so funny. Motivation. I think motivation is one of the biggest things in football and sports and life, probably. And if they lose to the Chiefs and play the Packers, I love the Bills in that game. I don't think they drop 2. If they go into Arrowhead and they whack on the Chiefs and get a nice win, I think they lose to the Packers the next week. That's the sick part of the NFL that makes it this league. I mentioned Commanders Bears Thursday. Get ready to tear that apart. Or watch baseball, the 1 p.m. slate on Sunday. Niners Falcons. Falcons have been a pesky 2-3 and kind of scoring points. Drake London looks solid as a rookie receiver. Mariota and the boys are moving the ball. Niners, they're back on track. 3-2 after a 1-2 start. They beat the Rams. They beat the Panthers. I think the Falcons are not good, and I think they've had a little bit of a malaise of a schedule. I mean, Saints, Rams, who have not looked good. Seahawks, Browns, and then Tom Brady's Bucks were up 21-0 last week, and then they foot just came off the gas. Niners, I think they're finding it with Jimmy G in their running game, and that's what they do. Even West Coast team coming east, I guess that's your fear factor. 1 p.m. game, East Coast, Niners. I don't know. That would make me timid to bet it. I think Niners roll. Patriots Browns, 2-3 teams. People are drinking Bailey Zappi Kool-Aid. Brissett is showing moments of why he's Jacoby Brissett and he's not a starter. I'll tell you what. Patriots +3 on the road. I haven't locked in my John Boy Media bet of the week. Belichick versus Brissett. Look what they did to the Lions last week. Let's ignore the Patriots offense and rookie Bailey Zappi and some solid running backs that they rotate in, so you don't really know them that much for fantasy. They beat the Lions 29-0. Goff, who is Jared Goff. He's known as a one-read quarterback, and if that's not there, he kind of doesn't do well. Well, guess what? Belichick, who's good at cutting off whatever you like to do, cut them off in a big way. 29-0. Lions, last week, I think the Patriots are going to get it going. I said it a couple episodes. Their schedule starts to clear up. Browns, Bears, Jets, Colts, Jets. I think we're going to be talking about the Patriots a lot more in the coming weeks. I don't know if it'll actually mean anything. I guess it depends where you stand on Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones, which, if you think you know, you have no idea. Whoa. What show is that? Is that OC or... No, that's the MTV Real World. Real World.
Found it.
Scary. Brain stopped working for a second. Jets, Packers. Wow. Interesting. Hello, timer. I didn't reset you from before. Jets, Packers, 2-3-2 teams. Hello. Both wear green. That's the good stuff. Packers, everyone still believes in the talent. You lost that week 1 game to Minnesota, who people, again, like Minnesota on the road. Week 1 Packers, we know all about it. Giants are playing capable football in London. I think you can exhale it. Let's find out who the Jets are. The Jets are feeling pretty good, man. They've got their QB going in Zach Wilson. They've won back-to-back games. Steelers stink. Dolphins, third-string quarterback. I'm going to believe in Rodgers in Green Bay against the Jets. Although, maybe the Packers will be jet-lagged. Never mind. Jaguars, Colts. This division stinks. Not watching it. Hopefully Jonathan Taylor's back and runs for 1,000,000 yards so we could believe in the team. Jaguars got embarrassed last week by the Texans. So let's find out who young Trevor Lawrence is and can he bounce back and adjust. And Doug Peterson was singing their praises a lot. Obviously a little scared. If the Colts get to 3-2-1, that is disgusting. Vikings Dolphins. Here's a sexy team game. 2 teams you like to use in a Madden fantasy draft, kind of like their logos. Fun color unis. Vikings are 4-1 on the road. Dolphins are 3-2. They've had a lot of injuries. Dolphins quarterback. Are we getting Tua back this week? Tua return to practice Wednesday?
I think I saw a quote from the coach this morning that the plan is still Skylar Thompson.
Still Skylar Thompson. Tua was ruled out even though he returned to practice this week. I don't know, man. Teddy Bridgewater also in concussion protocol. Skylar Thompson, again, the 7th-round pick out of K-State. I mean, he's 25 years old, so I guess, some guys coming out of school are 21, 22. He's got a little more age to him there. That's just a really tough ask. It's at home against the Vikings. This feels like a perfect Kirk Cousins game because you just have to not make the massive mistake against Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins. Skylar Thompson? Not Kenny Pickett. I know they're a talented team. I know they're at home. Minnesota is 3.5-point favorites. Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins. If Kirk Cousins has any semblance of being the average Kirk Cousins he can be, you win this game, the Dolphins will go to the Vikings will go to 5-1. So maybe I need to start stop trash talking them a little bit. Dolphins will go to 3-3. I want to feel great about it. They're without Tua. They're without Teddy. Maybe we get a surprise and we realize the Vikings are mid. Bengals Saints. Not really. Bengals favored in New Orleans. You like Burrow. Saints are doing kooky stuff with Taysom Hill. Watch out. Kooky tight end Taysom as he's in your fantasy league. 3 touchdowns last week. I don't know. I like the Bengals. I don't like the Saints. Sounds like a celebration in the office. BBD's going to check it out. I heard Chris Rose yelling. Giants, Ravens. The 4-1 Giants face the 3-2 Baltimore Ravens. You guys know I like the Ravens. You guys know I'm happy for the Giants. And I think they're being well coached and they believed in motivation when you're a team that thinks you're going to have a losing season. And then you're not losing, and you're in it. And holy smokes, we could go to the playoffs and be the New York playoff Giants with talking Giants. You're excited. I think they get a slice of humble pie this week with the Ravens. The Ravens are one of the better teams. They were talking Giants, Justin Pennick's Super Bowl pick. They have won and lost every other week. They lost that comeback game to the Dolphins when the Dolphins were fearsome and Tua, and, I think they slept walk a little bit at the end, and their defense got beat. They lost to the Bengals after having the Bills. They lost to the Bills and the Dolphins when we thought the Dolphins were good. I think Baltimore gets back on track this week. Sorry, G-Men fans. Coming back from London, maybe a little hangover there. Baltimore -5. I may be interested in that. Buccaneers, Steelers, no. Tom Brady, Tampa, 8-point favorites in Pittsburgh. Ugly line to bet because you want to believe in Pittsburgh and their defense, but their defense is gone. I mean, no TJ Watt, no quarterback. Really bad formula there. Don't think that's a fun watch. Rams, Panthers. Panthers fired Matt Rule after we last talked Monday. Basically happened right after we pushed the button. You pushed the button?
He might have been getting the conversation as we were recording this show.
Maybe they felt it. So whoever had that as your first coach fired. The Rams, who have not been uberly impressive this year, are -10.5 at home. They're 2-3. Los Angeles Rams. Their offense needs to show more. Their defense actually has been really good. And against what the Panthers will be doing offensively, that 10.5 actually just became less daunting. Cardinals, Seahawks. Cardinals are 2-3. Seahawks are 2-3. And what if I told you week 6 that in the Cardinals Seahawks games, one of the quarterbacks was playing the best QB in football? It's Geno Smith. It's so funny hearing the football sharps talk about it because they can't believe it. Because how? How could Geno Smith be playing the best quarterback play in the NFL through 5 weeks? And there's some talk about the system, and he believes in it, and they're playing better, and they're lumping it to Russ. I don't know. If I had to guess, sometimes sports happens. I don't think we're going to be at the end of this year saying, what's more likely? We hit the end of the year and we say, man, Geno Smith was one of the best QBs in football this year. Or do you think we're going to be at the end of the season saying, remember when, through 5 weeks, Geno was the best quarterback? What sounds more likely? Eric Hosmer was on the all-JM baseball team this year after the month of April. I know, different sports, we're doing different things, but are we? That being said, it might happen for another week because I don't believe in the Cardinals. I think they balled out last week. I think Kyler was locked in against the Eagles as they wanted to give them their first loss. They end up blowing it, kind of. Kyler slides too early. They had a field goal kicker. It should have at least went to overtime, and then we'd be saying, look at these Cardinals. In Seattle, if this Cardinals team sleepwalks, which they have a big chance to, their season can unravel. They're 2-0 on the road, and I don't see the full unravel coming yet, and I just don't believe in Geno. That's ugly. Hopefully we get good highlights from that game. Hopefully Kyler goes nuts and the Geno show continues for another week. Bills, Chiefs, talked about that. Plan your weekend around it. Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday night. Normally, people circle that as a game that they're going to make fun of. 4-1 Cowboys against the 5-0 Eagles. Cooper Rush remains undefeated at QB. Dak Prescott is throwing, but Cooper Rush should get the start this week. Boy, would that not be fun if the Cowboys, 4-1, if they go to 5-1 and take the NFC East lead with Cooper Rush and beat the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. I don't see it happening. Philly's a 6-point favorite. That's another one I like this weekend. I think they're a much better team than Dallas. I think Dallas is good. I think they've been definition of winning games. They beat the Bengals by 3. They beat the Giants by a score. They beat the Commanders. And then they won at the Rams, who, again, the Rams haven't been playing up to their capability, especially offensively. The fact that they held the Rams to 10. The Cowboys' defense is for real, especially star-wise, and they force you to turn over. I think where the Eagles win is in the trenches with their big bodies, and we might get the Cooper Rush aha game. That, you know what, we are ready for Dak to come back next week. I kind of like that Eagles -6 number. Broncos, Chargers. My Broncos play Monday night. We'll be back and able to talk to you guys about that, so that's good news. I mean, find me the person, and maybe this is your exercise for the bakers to bake the algorithm and comment, or tag me on Twitter or wherever. Find me the person that likes what the Broncos are doing or think the light at the end of the tunnel is coming. Because I haven't seen one person. I think Russell Wilson just came out and said he's got an injury. He's playing hurt right now. Maybe. I mean, it's funny because that hasn't seemed like the problem. You know? It was throwing that ball at the end of the game that got intercepted, that gave him the ball back so they could tie it. It was not looking at the throw that was wide open because it's the throw you lost the Super Bowl on. It's Nathaniel Hackett. So we'll be able to talk about that game next week, luckily. BBD, anything you want to say? I mean, you left to check out the chaos in the office during the Giants game, which are your G-men, so I don't know.
Yeah, Chris Rose is doing some gaming out there.
Oh, boy.
Giants, another big test, but like we said a little bit the other day, you know, even beyond this game, they have a chance to have their record in a very good place in the weeks after. That a win this week would just feel awesome. And there's some Wink Martindale revenge game stuff that could be fun.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe he's got something on Lamar. That's interesting.
He's been sitting there watching. Like, if I had to face this guy,
I mean, I just don't. If the Giants win, which they're at home, they've been winning games. They beat the Packers. How is Bears, Panthers, Titans? They're
the worst 4-1 team ever, but the guy who graduates last in med school is his doctor.
Still a doctor.
Landon Collins, I think, is going to be in the mix this week.
Right, old friend,
new friend.
The Giants are going to make the playoffs.
Kinda. The only reason to be nervous about it is just the Eagles have been actually good.
They have the Commanders twice. They have the Lions.
Kind of made a cool noise.
The Texans. Seahawks. Jaguars.
There's a very realistic path to, let's assume, a loss this week. Sure.
4-2. That'd be great.
4-2 after this week,
2,
and then
3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, the Colts at the end, we'll see if they turn around at all, but you have 7 games against straight up bad teams.
Yeah.
If you win 4 of those, you're at 8. And then you've got Cowboys who, I mean, I think they're beatable.
They should be able to, especially after last game, there should be some extra momentum.
2 Eagles games are tough.
You hope you get one, but that'll be tough. Between Commanders and Eagles games, you go 2-2.
You get this Ravens game, or they have to win one of these games to make the playoffs. How about this? That last Eagles game is last week of the season, so that could mean nothing for the Eagles, which that would be huge. So let's say between a meaningless game for the Eagles, at the Vikings, at the Cowboys, or this week versus the Ravens. If you win one of those 4 games, I think you're dancing.
You have to not lose those games you're supposed to.
Because 4 out, I gave him 4 out of 7 against those bad teams. So it's not like I was saying 5 out of 7, which I think is very doable. But 4 out of 7, and then you
should be the expectation.
So let's take those other 3 ugly games, and then 4 basically 7 games to win 1 to make the playoffs. I think the Giants. I might place a little Giants going to the playoffs bet.
She got some odds.
But I think I'm taking the Ravens this week. That is your football weekend. Guys, a little high and tight. Although I think we started going a little bit there.
Oh, we're good.
Lot going on. Baseball playoffs, the streams, and everything. Thank you guys for being a part of it. So it's October at John Boy Media, which is going to be crazy for the rest of the time. Come through, enjoy it, have some fun with us. If you haven't been a part of our streams, they're a lot of fun. Check them out. And check out everything on John Boy Media. Weekly Dumb, anything baseball, anything. And keep baking the algorithm. Love you guys. We will be back next Monday, getting ready for that Broncos game.
Hey, Jake's back.
Can you believe it?
He's on the mic and he's ready to go.
What a nightmare.
Noodle on his left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up. Don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.